In this video, I rank every single operator in British Railway out of 10. The operators are from my last video. You don't need to watch it to understand what's going on, but feel free to watch it later if you need some additional information. Let's get right into it. The first operator we will be ranking is Virgin Trains, currently operating the intercity cross-country franchise. Virgin Trains operates 3 routes, from Victoria Docks to Bournemouth, from Avanti to Bournemouth, and from Victoria Docks to Cuffley. They utilise the Class 221 and Class 800 trains, with the Class 220 as backup stock and the Class 90 for their unofficial summer service. This operator is actually quite decent in terms of comfortability, so that's not the main issue with this operator. The issue is overcrowding. All of the regular use trains, the 220, 221 and 800, are 4 or 5 cars long. Therefore, after 1 or 2 stops, they tend to get full. Very full. The issue is most apparent on the Class 220s whenever they run. However, thankfully, most services are now 221s and 800s, although the services are still very overcrowded. The issue is, Virgin doesn't have enough 800s to couple them up, but they can't couple the 221s on the Victoria Docks line, cause then they would be far too long for the platforms at Victoria Docks and Abbey Road. Aside from the questionable overcrowding, the frequency is good, the prices are good when compared to the rest of the UK, overall it's a 6 out of 10 from me. It's just a bad franchise for Virgin and the Voyagers. Our next operator is the Great Western Railway, operating the Great Western franchise. It connects Leeton to Bournemouth and Fare with regional trains, with an intercity fast train from Avonhill also in service. They primarily operate the Class 150 and 158, along with the 9-car ITs for the intercity line. The Fare line is run exclusively by the Class 220 in a shuttle service pattern, except for an occasional regional service with the 150s. This operator also has some rush hour problems, however unlike Virgin it's fine for most of the day. As long as you don't travel during the morning and afternoon rush hours, specifically almost precisely at 9 AM and 5 PM, you will be able to find a seat easily. It's here where GWR excels, as its comfortability, especially on the newly refurbished 9-car ITs, is unmatched. GWR's frequencies are also rather incredible, and they are actively combating the overcrowding problem by frequently running more and more of their regional trains in double and even triple formations during rush hour. Overall, I'll give this operator a 9 out of 10. The Victoria Coastal franchise is another diesel-heavy franchise currently operated by Northern. It covers the entire Victoria Docks area with a metro-like frequency using Class 150, 158 and 170 trains. There's relatively little overcrowding issues, and you can even board during rush hour, although you'll probably have to stand. The 170s have a questionable acceleration rate, but that's about it. Unfortunately, since Northern has begun refurbishing some of their 150s, they've had to deploy the mortal enemy of every rail passenger, the Pacer. This thing sucks. The Class 156 is better, primarily because the lines are short, but the 142 can't even run on these short lines without feeling like an absolute piece of trash. The 156 has uncomfortable seats, but they only get uncomfortable after about an hour. The Pacer seats are uncomfortable the moment you sit on them. However, for some reason, Northern has decided to run the Pacers instead of the 156s during the refurbishment of the 150s. The seats are uncomfortable, the bouncing is intolerable, the doors keep malfunctioning. Unironically, replacement buses would have been better. I would give Northern a 9 out of 10, but until they finish refurbishing the 150s and put the 142s back in storage where they belong, it's a 5 out of 10 from me. Just the idea of having the small chance of having to squeeze myself onto a Pacer makes me want to just keep away from this operator entirely. The next target for my ranting is LNWR, and I'm pleased to say I don't have much to rant about here. LNWR runs regional services from Avonhill to Leeton and Norrington using Class 350-0 trains. It also runs the Avonhill Overground line to Fleetwood with Transport for Avonhill branding on a special Class 321 train. Their trains are almost always coupled together for capacity. You barely ever have to stand, the seats are comfortable, the liveries and interior are nice, the frequency is great, and so on. My only gripe with this operator is the Class 230s on the weekend service to Victoria. Why? If it was a regular service, it would be no problem, but weekend services are typically meant to be more comfortable rather than more functional for rush hour traffic. Longitudinal seating and prioritizing standing room over sitting room just doesn't scream comfort to me. If it was an all-week service, I would get it because you need full capacity, but this is a weekend service for people who go to Longbow Beach. We don't need all of this capacity. Just make it more comfortable. Also, the suspension specifically on the LNWR version of the Class 230 in particular seems to be sloppy and atrocious. It's not as bad as the Pacers, but it's not good either. I'm going to give LNWR and the Avanti commuter franchise a 9.5 out of 10. I'm really excited to rank the next franchise, which just so happens to be the Norrington Regional franchise, operated by Greater Anglia. As I've said in the last video, the staple of this franchise is the quote-unquote Norrington Metro, from Hulme Heath to Cuffley and from Cuffley to Stonebrook Town. This metro service offers 6 trains per hour for Stonebrook Town and 4 trains per hour for Hulme Heath, with a total of 10 trains per hour from Sterling Street to Cuffley. That is a Class 755 flirt every 6 minutes. Each train is comfortable, spacious, has good wayfinding information, and is fast. Even if you have to stand, it's really not that bad with a flirt suspension. The same goes for the Class 745 line to Belmont Green. Comfortable, fast, enjoyable. The summer service to Avonhill is a bit dodgy on occasion, but most of the time it's just right. It's typically formed of 5 standard coaches and 2 first-class coaches, giving enough space for both regular passengers and those who want a more premier experience. The cleanliness of this operator is also another thing I want to compliment here. I've rarely seen dirty trains on this operator. All of these factors combine to form a 10 out of 10 rating for Greater Anglia. The Norrington Intercity franchise is run by LNER and it's the smallest in the network. The trains aren't that comfortable, they only run once per hour, and LNWR beats it in every single way. For an intercity, you'd expect comfortable seats, but LNER decided that those were too much to ask for and gave us ironing boards. I've decided to give LNER a 2 out of 10. Transport for Wales is the second operator on the Victoria coastline. Its 230s are rather questionable in terms of, well, literally everything, but the rest of the fleet, namely the Class 231 and Class 756 flirts, are absolutely world class. Same compliments as Greater Anglia's flirts. Spacious, really comfortable seats, good suspension, an adequate amount of toilets. It's everything you want in a train. I'd argue that the Swiss trains and all of the Stadlers in the Preston Railway network are just amazing, and I think Preston's other train operating companies should order more Stadler trains, because Swiss trains really are just that good. The frequency here is debatable, but in my opinion it's satisfactory, especially since it does have to use the same rails as Northern literally everywhere except for the Bromfield Loop. Transport for Wales gets a 9 out of 10 from me. Silverlink currently runs the Millbridge commuter franchise from Millbridge to Belmont Green using Class 321 trains. It provides a great capacity boost to GWR during the rush hour, however outside of that it's just another operator. At least it's good for the environment, I guess. The trains are relatively comfortable, although they could use some refurbishing. The livery is unique, that's a 6 out of 10 from me. And finally for the franchises, we have the Leeton Connector franchise, operated by East Midlands Railway, with a mix of Class 180 and Class 158 trains. EMR currently operates semi-fast routes from Stonebrook Town and Cuffley to Bournemouth at a relatively decent frequency. Putting the trains aside, the operator is great. Great services, great value for money, great frequency, friendly staff, beautiful liveries, but then you realize they primarily use the Class 180. That's right, your journey will be comfortable, there will be great snacks, the staff will be pleasant, However, it will probably end by the bus or an evacuation from the main line due to a fire or technical fault. This operator still deserves a 7 out of 10 in my opinion, as the primary downturn of this operator isn't really the fault of this operator, it's more Alstom not being able to build a single goddamn train right. Avanti West Coast is one of the 2 open access operators on the network, operating fast services between Avonhill and Cuffley on the main line with Class 805 and 807 trains. Avanti also offers buffet services. The most enjoyable part of this operator is the fact that they are the only one to sell as many tickets as they have seats. This allows you a guaranteed seat as long as you can buy a ticket, making it perfect for buying in advance if you're, say, a tourist visiting Preston for the first time. The 807s usually have some spare seats as well, as the 805s are almost always filled to the brim. It's why I prefer the 807 and Vero trains myself. Overall, this operator gets a 9.5 out of 10. And finally, we have Grand Central. Being a more comfortable alternative to the Bournemouth cross-country service, expectations are high. Running between Avonhill and Bournemouth in a semi-fast service pattern, with buffet service and great seats, the operator couldn't be any better. Until you see which trains it's running. That's right, it's my arch-nemesis, the Class 180. It's notorious for breaking down specifically on the hill up to Bournemouth, to the point where the railway and Network Rail now have a Class 47 on standby at Bournemouth to tow the damn things. I swear, every third 180 that crosses through here has to be towed into Bournemouth. The operator itself is great, if you don't mind a 15-minute delay because the prime movers overheated and had to be shut down instead of risking a fire, and then you had to get towed by Class 47. That's an 8 out of 10 from me. And that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and special thanks to my channel members, whose names you can see on screen. Like, subscribe, and join the Discord for emojis of Toby sniffing nose candy. I'm gonna go strap myself to a catapult in an attempt to achieve orbital flight around the Earth. Goodbye.